Michael is the Principal Solutions Specialist in the LA area, and he's going to give us an update on Media Composer. Thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you. Yeah, just a couple things. You know, we've been doing this for quite a while, so you know, feature films, TV shows. I guess we're going on 27, 28 years. So just a small sample. It's nice to see that, and we thank everybody who uses it, from the people who shoot it to the people who edit it and everyone in between. I do want to start off talking about, quickly to get out of this, we changed, you may have heard of our storage system, ISIS. We changed the name. Actually, we didn't just change the name, we actually changed the storage system itself. Nexus stands for the next generation of intelligent storage. So that's where the actual name came from. We've actually upped the bandwidth, so ISIS that was 300 megabytes per second, the Nexus is actually 400 megabytes per second. That's on one chassis. When you start adding chassis, you double, triple, quadruple that bandwidth as well. So it's still Ethernet attached. We have the Nexus Pro for more boutique systems. It's a 2 RU unit that has 20 terabytes of storage in a single chassis, and again, you can multiply that with the up to 4 chassis on top of that. We also have the E2, which is the same chassis. It's a 2 RU unit, but it lets you put in 20 or 60 terabytes of storage in a single chassis. The E4 is 4 RU. You have 2 media packs. A media pack is 10 drives. You can put 2 media packs in there and double your storage. And you also have the E5, which even takes it up even farther, and now I think we just introduced you can get up to 3 petabytes in an entire populated system. So with everybody shooting higher resolution, 6K, where are you going to store it? So we have solutions that allow you to do that. Totally award-winning. These are, again, what they look like, just the different sizes. The nice thing about the E2, E4, and E5 is you can mix and match those. You couldn't do that with the 5500 and 7500. You were locked into only a 5500 or 7500 chassis. But with the modularity of the new Nexus Pro system, or the new Nexus hardware, you can actually mix and match E2s, E4s, and E5s. Totally supported on a variety of different platforms and users, Adobe, Apple, everybody in between, fully supported using Avid Nexus. Media Composer, again, has been around for a while. A lot of it hasn't changed as far as how you're working with it. We've actually added some things to help people who are moving from Premiere and Final Cut to make it a little, easier. But the major part of editorial is still the same. But some things that we've added have to do with things like custom formats. Let me just zoom in here. If you do have something rather than just, HD, we do support UHD, 2K, 4K. We have this new one called Custom. So we can actually create 8K projects inside of Media Composer now. Of course, depending on the CPU that you're using, trying to link to files, trying to play stuff back, there might be some, issues. People are still using, older hardware. There are ways that you can actually work with that. But the nice thing about custom is you can create things for websites. You can create different formats. People say they want to create a format of a Snapchat window to maybe drop that into something that's being edited. So just little samples of things that I created. This little sample right here. Again, just a little odd format, but you can create different sizes with media inside of Media Composer. So if you are working with 2K, 4K media and you're trying to create, again, a nice little banner, and this is a mix of some Red Epic with a QuickTime, just creating just a simple move. But again, this is something that we couldn't do before. So again, we're opening up the possibilities of creativity. We have some 2K Black Sail stuff with, I think, a sample of some Sony F55 sample. We also have the different color spaces. So as you're working or creating projects, you'll know I'm currently in a UHD project, but if I go to my color space, you'll see that I do have different color spaces that I can work in as well. So you can change them. These are totally being updated, with new versions of software. But you can create different color spaces. And you also have your proxy mode. Now this is important. Again, I mentioned you have different CPUs that you're trying to work with. Can you play back a 5K file if you link to it? Maybe, maybe not. you can go in and turn on a proxy mode, which actually would do a real-time transcode to a proxy of that media. So potentially you could play it back, but it gives you the nice option where you don't have to transcode it if you don't need to. If you just change the proxy mode, you can fully edit it, then turn proxy mode off and do your export or output if you want to do it outside or inside of Media Composer. You do have the option as well to do your, conforms on other systems like Resolve or anything else that you might be using. Some other things to look at are source media. We do have a new way of looking at your clips. I don't know if I introduced this the last time at one of the DCS meetings, but we just introduced the source browser. Now, what this allows you to do is take a look at your digital media without having to go externally to your attached storage, to another drive. Let's say I want to go to my desktop. I want to look at, see what I have here. I don't even remember. Let's see. Take a look at some JPEGs, some movie files, and you'll also see we have a little hover scrub. So this is a nice way to go in and preview your clips, whether they are XDCAM, P2, RED, ProRes, any format that you're trying to look at. And from this window is where you can link or import. So linking, AMA, we don't call it AMA anymore because people are like, why are you AMAing? I don't understand AMA. You're just linking to the file. So we called it link. So now you link to the file. You can actually choose your link settings, properties, your options, things like choosing multi-channel audio if you so desire. And you also could import, which actually will let you create your media, your Avid media. Now, actually a little trick here, it's actually faster to link and then transcode than it is to import because we now have background transcoding. So why would you sit unless you want a break, go get dinner, to go in and do an import and watch the bar move when you can just link and do a background transcode of your media. So again, different options here. You'll also notice DNX-HR. Of course, DNX-HD only goes up to HD. So if you're trying to transcode or create media that's higher than HD, UHD, 2K, 4K, 8K, you can actually do a DNX-HR at low bandwidth, which is LB, standard quality, and high quality 10-bit. And it's going to create that great quality media, but at a lower data rate to be able to store and edit that media. So media that we're taking a look at here, if I have some clips, I want to go in and take a look or look at my source settings on any clip that I have right here. Source settings lets me do a number of things. The first one is color encoding. This is when you're creating a look. The LUT could be created in Resolve, could be created in another application, and I can go in and add any LUT right in this, and it's putting it on the source clip. So I'm just going to add a look, and it just changed the little value here. I'm just going to add another one just as a way to show you that a change is being made. And some more values. And I could also go into my color management settings, and this is where I can select a LUT. So if one is created, a 1D or 3D LUT, it can be applied to the source clip. And the great thing about these looks is they're non-destructive. Because you can edit with them, you can put them on the clip. If you transcode it, you could actually burn it into the clip and use it in editorial. But the nice thing about it not being destructive is if at any point that clip is cut into my sequence, I can always pull that look back off. Or as you know that in production, stuff is always changing, you're getting a new look, you can always reapply that to that source clip and then say, it's already cut into the sequence, go down my sequence and add that look every time that shot is put into the timeline. We also have what we call our frame flex. Frame flex is letting you go in, if you're shooting 5K, or even if they're not delivering in 4K, they might be shooting it because they want the full range of the clip. They want the high quality media. And they can extract multiple takes from one shot and still keep great quality. So what frame flex allows me to do is I can go in and choose an area of interest, hit apply, and watch the source window right here, as it actually has now chosen just that area of interest. So if I go in and say I create a new sequence, drop that in my timeline, it's now using that area of interest, but I still have that full range of that shot that I could use for editorial. So that's the full shot. That's showing me what I selected, and I can go in and move it at any time. I can choose a new area, and I could even animate or keyframe that. So if you're trying to do that Ken Burns effect, trying to keep quality, because you can also do this with still frames. So if you're working on a documentary, scan that image in at a really high quality, and now you can do the frame flex to actually move in, move that around, and get some really nice effects. And again, that can be applied at any time. These are just source side elements in my sequence. Another thing I want to bring up, you may have heard, has anybody heard of Phrase Find or Script Sync? I know you're doing a lot more shooting probably, more camera work, but on set you have a script supervisor, you have a script. We just introduced a exclusive licensing agreement with Nexidia, which brings back a couple of tools. One of them I want to highlight real quick that a lot of people like for editorial. It's called Script Sync. Now, we've always had the ability to take a text file from, let's say, final draft. So here is, it's not the script from this, but it gives you the right idea. This is a scene right here. But the great thing about Media Composer, and a really nice tool, is we've always been able to take media and attach it to a text file and a script. And you could use that for editorial. So you highlight a portion of the script, you take media, and just point that to that area, and I now have media assigned for where that dialogue is. The cool thing here is, and we've been able to do this for years, is all you do is you hit record, and as it's playing, you hit a mark, and it adds a mark to the timeline, or excuse me, to the script, where that line of dialogue may come up. Now the nice thing there is I take that line and I move it where I need it to go. Select that. Oops. I should be able to move that. And then when it's lined up, we actually now have an indication or a mark in where dialogue is. Now this new technology that we are reintroducing, we had it for years but lost it when we moved to version 8. And a lot of people kept version 7 because they didn't want to move because we lost this, is a technology that will actually go in and line the script to match where dialogue is. So now you have a really cool way of saying, if you want to find any dialogue where he said you see where the tail landed, you simply double click here in the script and it takes you right to that instance. And you can also edit by that. You'll also see that you can take multiple takes. Again, this isn't the right media to go with the sequence, but gives you the right idea. If I take those and just drop them over here, you can create groups and just highlight which one you want to see play back and totally line your script. And to even mimic a script, you can even go in and add things like off-screen markings and even color code. So again, a nice way to work. It may add some work for the assistant to actually do this, but once you see that, once you start editing with it, there are people who will not edit any other way from this, offering some new options. So there'll be an announcement in December which talks about the new things that we're going to be offering with Phrase Find and Script Sync. So I just wanted to bring that up. Another thing I want to bring up outside of Media Composer, just before I wrap this up, is looking at dailies and things while you're not in or on location. So we introduced Avid Everywhere several years ago. And I'm going to load up Media Central UX. This is a web-based browser. UX stands for Unified Experience, and it's part of Avid Everywhere. The idea is you do have all of your media on storage. You're off-site, but you want to take a look at that media. You can stream. It's just a proxy, but the producer wants to take a look at that media, add locators or markers, or even make a shot list or sequence. So I'm going to log in. I've actually VPN'd into Burlington, Massachusetts, Avid's headquarters. I'm now going to bring up Media Central UX. Now again, the media is cross-country, but this is a web browser. You just open it up on a PC or a Mac, And you're going to get a nice little layout here, which is going to let you preview that media and play that back. And we are using Wi-Fi. I'm not directly connected. If I was directly connected, it'd probably be a little faster connection. But the great thing is you don't have to create this proxy media. All the media is living on-prem in the facility, and it's going to create the media on the fly when you access it. Just do a little editing. Here we are. So all of these windows, it's all customizable. You have all your little takes here, all your sequences. This is all media which has been checked into Avid Interplay. We double click on an asset, and here we have Arcade Fire. The media is in Burlington, Massachusetts. It is timecode accurate, and I can create markers and add notes. So the great thing is the editor is working away. They're in the room. The producer may be in New York or London. They can go in and take a look at this media. Let's see what it looks like when I play this back. That's actually playing the streamable media from Burlington, Massachusetts. You can scrub through it. You can take a look at other clips. Get a little tighter shot here. And anytime I want to create a marker, I simply hit Command M. It drops a mark at that point. I then come over to my logging window, type in nice shot. As soon as that's saved, that metadata is added to that clip, which the editor will be able to see immediately. So again, this is total collaboration, being able to see the media anywhere you are, making changes, creating shot lists, totally being able to bring up sequences. But you'll see here in the timeline, you can go in and drag and drop clips and elements and totally do trimming with media that's cross-country in a web browser. All that information is saved. You just send that sequence to the editor, they open it up, and it's going to link to the high-res media that they're using in the facility. So again, I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. We have a lot of stuff coming, but just a little preview into a bunch of stuff from Avid.